Okay, so good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy to have you guys with me tonight. I'm going to start off by telling you a little story. So, does everybody have a block or a blanket or something? So, why don't we start off on our backs and either place a block underneath your sacrum so that you're in a supported bridge, or place a blanket under your knees so that your legs are supported. Just get nice and comfortable. And I'm going to read you a little story. Not a bedtime story, though, so no sleeping, please. Save that for Shavasana. All right. So the story is called The Roar of Awakening. And it's all about that moment when you recognize that you're not who you thought you were, that you're much more than that. So it's a story about a hungry tiger who gave birth to a cub in the forest. And then she was so tired because she was so hungry. She hadn't had food for a long time. She died and she left the cub an orphan. Hi, Joe. We're laying down really comfortably. Um, and so the cub was all by itself in the forest, wandering around, and it was found by a herd of goats. And the goats decided to adopt this little tiger cub. So he grew up repeating behaviors like the goats. He bleated, he ate grass, and he really believed that he was a goat. It's all he knew. It's what he was told. It's what he was taught. And so the cub grows into a tiger and keeps wandering around with the goats, acting like a goat, bleeding, eating like a vegetarian. And then one day, a big male tiger comes into the goat herd, and all the goats scatter except for this little tiger. He was about a year old now, and looking at this big male tiger, he sensed something. He sensed some kind of a camaraderie, right? Something. Hi, Perry. Some kind of a camaraderie, something familiar. And so he didn't run away. And the big tiger walked over and said to him, "What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you running around acting weird, bleeding and eating grass?" And the little tiger says, "Well, because I'm a goat." And the big tiger says, "You're not a goat. That's ridiculous. Let me show you." And so he leads the little tiger over to a very still pond, and he has him gaze into the still pond at his own reflection. And he said, "Look at yourself, really look at yourself." The little cub looked at himself, and he looked at the big tiger, and he got really confused. The big tiger took him back to his den, and in the den was some leftover meat. And the little tiger said, "I don't eat meat, I eat grass." And the big tiger said, "Just take one bite." And so the little tiger took a bite, and at first he choked on it, and it didn't feel right to him. But then, all of a sudden, when it entered his bloodstream, there was something about it that it just gave him something that felt right. It just gave him this surge of energy. And so the little tiger was really confused now, really confused. But as the meat really went into his bloodstream, and as he looked around and he saw this big tiger, and he felt more and more and more at home, all of a sudden he naturally bared his claws, he opened his mouth wide, and he let out a small roar. And it was his first roar ever. And it wasn't very fearsome, but it was his first. And so he knew that he had found something about himself that he hadn't known before, right? So the first roar was his roar of awakening. In that moment, he realized that he's not who he thought himself to be, and that there was so much more for him in life than he had known so far. So think about that. When did you have a roar of awakening? Or how could you have a roar of awakening? Is there something that calls to you that says, "This is what I'm supposed to do. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to try"? It's little calling, right? This little sense of, I'm supposed to do something different. I'm supposed to be somebody different. I'm more than I am. Maybe not even be somebody different. I'm more than I think I am. So think about what your roar of awakening has been, because we've all had them, right? We've all dabbled in something that all of a sudden became a passion, right? I know for myself, when I first started taking yoga, I took it just to bring some calm and peace into my life. And then something about it just kept on calling me, but my mind said, "Nah, you can never be a yoga teacher. That's ridiculous. You're not flexible. You're not this. You're not that." And then little by little, as the energy of teaching yoga began to enter my bloodstream, my heart stream, all of a sudden I had a roar of awakening and I realized that I was something that I didn't know I was. So think about where in your life you've had a roar of awakening, where in your life you are headed toward a roar of awakening. What's calling you? What is your true essence? What is it that you can really tap into to really begin to know yourself even deeper than you do right now? So something to think about as we move through our practice today. So take another deep breath in this nice, relaxed position. And as you exhale, if you're on your back, bring your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side for a moment. Perry, we're coming back up, so you can stay if you want. And then bring yourself up to a seat. Let your hands come together at your heart center. Close your eyes. Dive in deep. And we'll open with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Pause, let the energy settle. As you connect to your inner wisdom, maybe notice something stirring inside. Something calling you to whatever's next. A roar of awakening that is just beginning to form somewhere in your cells, in your heart. And then moving into our next chant, Ad Gare Name, 3 times together. Ad Gare Name, Jugad Gare Name, Sad Gare Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sad Gure Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sad Gure Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Pause, feel, receive. Take in all of the sensation that your body is offering you right now. Notice the pulsing, the aliveness. Your outer body so still, and inside, the vibrations and the movement, the flow of all that you are never stops. I am this body, not so much. I'm so much more than this body. This body holds, contains, and allows to flow that which I am. Feel that. Take a deep breath in. Prayer overhead. Reach up to that beautiful new moon. Hold the breath, squeeze everything up, and actually open the palms of your hands as if you're receiving, and actually receive the energy of that new moon, new beginnings. And then as you exhale, slowly bring your arms around, fingertips flowing through the energy of you. Touching Mother Earth. Gratitude for above, gratitude for below, gratitude for all around us. And as you open your eyes, make your way into child's pose. Really let your hips sink down toward those heels. Make that journey, heart, third eye, joining with Mother Earth. And once you get there, really stretch your arms out in front of you. Take a nice stretch. Take a nice, long, deep breath. Give yourself the opportunity to really be where you are. Notice every sensation in your body. And then begin to walk your upper body to the right, walking your hands over to the right. And once you get there, let your right arm really reach forward as far as it can over to the right. And pull your left hand back towards your body. You don't have to actually move it, but just energetically pull it back. So you're really opening up that side body. Do I have that backwards? You're walking to your right. So you want your left arm extended. Your right hand is going to be pulling down toward the mat. I'm sorry. And really feel that extension in the left side body. Really feel that opening. And then let the right hand come back to meet the left. Walk to center, move to the other side, walking to the left. The right hand reaching forward, the left energetically pulling back, opening, making space. Breathing. And then slowly walking back to center. What I love about that story is that the tiger was a goat because it needed to be a goat in order to survive. So it adapted to be whatever it was that it needed to be. And then when the time was right, when it was ready, the universe sent along a messenger, a guide. And that's what happens in our lives. So think about that. Nothing's a mistake. Not that he should never have been a goat. He got what he needed and he adapted. From here, you're going to take your right arm and lift it up out to the right a little bit and then slide it under the left, keeping your left hand on the floor, but like arching up so that you can look under at your left armpit. So the right arm is reaching through the left, and you're gazing at that left armpit, really twisting, opening. One long deep breath here. And then exhale that right arm back out into the mat and switch sides. Doing the same thing on the other side. Yep. Extending and twisting. Long deep breaths. And coming back out of the twist. Back into child's pose. And again, fully extend those arms forward, those hands forward. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your knees, but keep your head, let your head and your neck be the last thing that comes up. So walk back slowly, slowly, slowly with your arms. And then at the very end, bring that head and that neck up. Coming into Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. And from here, you're going to place your hands on your knees. And we're going to do just a few backwards shoulder rolls. So you're going to bring your shoulders up towards your ears, back and then forward. Nice and slow and really exaggerated. Really bring them back and open. This is an amazing, amazing pose to do when you're feeling just really emotional or scared, or like when you're just really tight and folding into yourself. This opens up our hearts. It allows us to become vulnerable again. It's a very beautiful way to soften, right? So when we're scared or we're agitated or we're just exhausted and we feel like we can't go another step, we just start to turn into ourselves. This is a way to kind of release everything that we're holding. Right? It begins to work with the gravitational pull to open the heart, to make space in the lungs, to allow you to breathe a little bit deeper. There are very few things that a good deep breath can't help. Right? A good deep breath, it doesn't necessarily solve everything, but it gives you a starting point. I know when I'm really anxious or when I just cannot get out of this head of mine and my mind is just telling me this story that's really scary, a few long deep breaths, then all of a sudden I'm back in my neutral mind and I have a chance at changing my perspective. Just a few deep breaths. So roll those shoulders and breathe. And then as you come to stillness, bring your hands to your heart center, both hands flat on your heart. You're going to inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, opening your arms. As you inhale through your nose again, you're going to bring your hands now onto your solar plexus. Exhale through your mouth, opening your arms up. Continue. Inhaling through your nose, heart. Exhaling, opening up. Inhaling nose, solar plexus. Exhaling mouth, opening. Keep going that way. And then once you have a rhythm, you're going to start to do some spinal flexors along with it. So as you open, your heart comes forward. And as you move in, you round. And as you open and go down to the solar plexus, you open. As your hands touch the solar plexus, you round. Keep going. Alternating between mouth and nose. Eyes closed. Really finding a rhythm. So I believe that so often we come into this world with whatever circumstances we come with in order to learn what we need to learn, in order to face what we need to face, in order to acknowledge just how fierce we are, because every one of us is fierce. Every one of us is fierce. And then we get to soften a little bit. We get to breathe a little bit. So really taking in the idea that whatever we're given, we have the tools to move through. In good, bad, or indifferent, this too shall pass. What is good and bad? They're labels that our mind gives things. So when we're not sure of who we are or what we are, can we trust that the essence of who we are, that center of our heart, that unconditional goodness, that purity, can we trust that that's in there, regardless of whether we can connect to it or not? And that's our truth. And all this other stuff is just stuff that we need to move through so that we can finally gaze into that still pond and see the reflection of who we truly are. The next time you open, stay open. And then let your hands float back to your sacrum, interlace your fingers, pull your hands down, shoulders go back, heart rises, eyes rise. Let your ribs soften here, opening that heart. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, slightly twist your body to the right and move your head down towards your right knee. Arms come up and over any amount. Inhale back up, exhale, move to the other side. Do that a few times at your own pace. So sometimes we have to be something else in order to learn how to be who we truly are. And we can bring part of that something else with us. That tiger who thought he was a goat, now he doesn't have to go around killing goats just because he's a tiger. He's got a choice. He knows he's got a different perspective than he would have if he had just been raised as a tiger. Next time you come up, stay. Pull those hands down, open up a lot one more time. And then as you exhale, release your hands onto your knees and close your eyes. I'm going to talk you through a short guided meditation here. So get nice and comfortable. You can even reach back a little bit and move that flesh from your sit bones. Let yourself get super grounded. And then close your eyes. And inhale very deeply through your nose. Exhale completely. And just for a moment, connect with the rhythm of your natural breath. The inhale and the exhale. The rise and the fall of the belly and the chest. And feel the air, the pranic energy as it fills your body. A sense of cleansing and clearing. Feel it moving in and down, but also out and around. Notice how it fills every single part of your body. Feel the breath moving all the way down to your toes. With each out breath, a sense of release, letting go of anything that no longer serves. On the in breath, a sense of support, of receiving. And then begin to imagine the space around you, letting your breath become very natural. Begin to imagine that the space around you is filled with a very fine mist. And everywhere you look, keep your eyes closed, but imagine looking around and just seeing this mist everywhere. All different colors. It's as if you were floating in a cloud. And imagine that the clouds, the mist, represent a gateway to realms beyond this world. To worlds that hold the truth about who you are, who I am, our interconnectedness to each other. Floating in this cloud of mist beyond this world. Begin to draw your attention to your crown chakra, the space, the very top of your head. And notice the swirling mist around your crown chakra. Very fine, light mist. And notice that through the mist, there's this golden light pulsating there, this bright golden light. And watch as that light begins to expand around your crown, beginning to dissolve the mist that surrounds the crown chakra. And as the mist around the crown chakra begins to clear, Feel yourself moving into a space of infinite bliss. Then watch the pulsating light begin to descend from the crown chakra, moving in a circle around your third eye, the space right in the center of the forehead. And as this pulsing light moves around the third eye, front and back, notice the mist around the third eye beginning to clear. And suddenly, a sense of clarity, of new perspective, of seeing so far beyond the physical eyes. And continue to watch this pulsing light moving the mist away as it continues to expand outward and down, moving around the throat chakra, clearing the mist that blurs the vision of clear communication, of purity. As your throat chakra begins to clear, as the veils begin to lift, feel a lightness in the area of your throat, a sense of ease and purity. And then watch this pulsating light circling around, moving down to the heart. With each rotation, as it circles and pulses, that mist beginning to clear even more. And this sense of unlimited compassion and peace and a knowing yourself begins to rise up through the dissipating mist as that pulsating light continues its journey around and down and out, moving to the third chakra, pulsing around the solar plexus, clearing the mist there. Any doubts, any fears about who you truly are, about your power, about your fierceness begins to fade away as the mist clears. And there's this pulsing light, this clarity around your power center. Continuing to move your eyes with this pulsing light as it moves around to your sacral chakra, space right below your navel, clearing the mist there, allowing your creativity, your emotional energy to rise up, feeling a sense of stability there, knowing that what you give birth to in this lifetime, whatever it is valuable, is priceless. And then finally, watching that pulsing light move down to the sacrum, moving around the hips, the pelvic floor, all the way down the legs to the feet, clearing the final bits of mist as you ground so completely into your purpose in this physical world. Pause for a moment. Feel what it feels like to have all of the veils lifted, to have so much clarity about who you are and why you're here, your right to be here. Full awareness. Feel in every cell of your body the lightness of the divine. Feel your tiger rising to the surface, your roar of awakening. Take a long, long, long deep breath here, all the way down to that sacrum. And exhale all the way up to the crown. And slowly open your eyes and roll forward into tabletop. Moving slowly. And once you get there, plant your hands, plant your knees, plant your toes, and just feel for a moment. And then slowly begin to cat-cow, moving your spine, moving your breath. And think about this. When you get a glimpse of your roar of awakening, of something that calls you, something that makes your heart just burst with excitement. What do you do with it? Do you follow it, even if it leads down a path of fear? Do you send it away because it doesn't fit into the plan? Do you ignore it? What do you do with it? Just notice without judgment. Come to stillness. Let your right hand come straight out. Let your left leg come out and back, finding balance, engaging your core. And then begin to lower the toes of that left foot down to the ground and lift up again. And lower and lift. Just moving that leg up and down. And the next time that leg comes down, bring your knee all the way down to the ground. Bring your right arm back down to the mat. Switch sides. Left arm comes forward. Right leg up and back. First stretch, extend, engage that core. Find your balance. And then begin to move your leg up and down. Up and down. Giving yourself permission to wiggle and wobble, if that's what goes on for you. What if we leaned into every moment and let go of any thoughts or ideas or judgments about how something should be? What if we just let things be what they were and showed up as our best selves in those situations? What would that look like? Next time your leg comes down, bring it down to the mat. Bring your hand down. Press back into child's pose. A few breaths here. One of my favorite Marianne Williamson quotes is this. You've probably heard it before, but I don't think you can ever hear this too many times. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Let yourself roar and bleat and eat whatever the heck feels right for you, whether it's grass or steak, because there is no right or wrong. There is no objective truth. Everything is subjective. Decide from your soul. Be willing to change. Just like that goat tiger. Be him. If you want. Who am I to tell you who to be, right? All right, take another breath. And then slowly come back to all fours. Tuck your toes. Hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Stretch for a moment here. And then as you come to stillness, really soften your knees, bend them, and walk up toward your hands. Letting yourself really melt in Uttanasana, forward fold. Let everything go. You can grab opposite elbows if you'd like, or leave your arms long. Let your head shake from side to side. Maybe even let your lips go, just a little bleeding like that goat. Let everything go. Feel any tension just sliding off of you. And notice how willing Mother Earth is to open her arms and just take it all from you. All the time she whispers to us, to rest our weary bodies in her arms, to release our burdens. Let her help, let her hold them. Can we do that? Can we give her what stands in the way of our roar of awakening? Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I shouldn't say can't. Sometimes I can. I do. Sometimes I won't. It always feels better when I do. From here, bend your knees slightly. Let your arms float out wide. Let those arms like wings rise your body up to stand. Let those wings meet overhead. Then flip your hands around and again, let those wings begin to descend. And as they do, let your upper body begin to descend. Coming back into that forward fold. And then rising those wings up again and continue that way a few times. Floating up, floating down. The next time you come up, let your arms stay up. And just pause for a moment. Notice that they're at equal distance from your ears, each of them. And then let your shoulders relax. Arms are still up, the shoulders are relaxed. And then just start to let yourself sway to the right, keeping your arms right where they are. They're going to move to the right, but they're going to stay the same distance from your ears. And then come back to center. Move to the other side and continue to sway this way, keeping your arms at the same distance as you move from side to side. And the next time you move to the right, let your right arm move all the way down toward the floor as you stretch your left over. And then bring that right arm up, come to center, move to the left, left arm coming down, right reaching over. Bring that left arm up, back to center, and keep going. And the next time that you come up, reach those arms up really high, like you're grabbing for that moon again. You're reaching for the moon energy. You're receiving. Reach, reach, reach. And then let your arms come out to a T. Just twist your upper body over to the right. The right arm moves behind you, the left in front of you. Back to center, other side. And keep twisting that way, reaching out with those arms. Clearing the ethers around you. Making space in your heart. Coming home to your heart. The heart is so patient. It always waits for that mind of ours to take a breath. Patiently waiting for us to return our attention home to the heart. That's where every roar of awakening begins. Our minds tell us stories and throw mist and veils over the truth. The heart never does that. The heart always steers us in a direction that serves us, our dharmic path, in the highest way. The mind gets scared and overrides that wisdom. Bring your arms back to center, reaching out, 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 out. And then bend them into cactus arms. Take a little back bend here. And as you open, your shoulder blades come together. Relax those ribs down. And come on up. Curl your fingers as if you were curling them around the bar. And begin to just pull down slowly as if there was a really big weight that you were pulling on. Let those elbows come down. And then slowly rise back up. Do that a few more times. Pull, 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 really pull down as if there was so much resistance. Feel your strength. And one more time. Pull down. And as you release, allow your arms to come to your sides. We're going to try a little balance here. So you're going to bring your arms out to a T and then slowly lift your right knee up. And then bring your right knee over your left and let your right toes touch the floor. And then give yourself a big hug, a variation of eagle pose. Take a breath here. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, let those arms come back out to a T. Lift that knee back up, forward, and down to the ground. Inhale, the opposite knee up, the left. Cross it over the right, toes to the ground. Hug in the opposite direction. Breathe here. You can never hug yourself too hard. Inhale, and as you exhale, arms open, knee comes up, down to the ground. Let your arms come down to your sides, palms forward. Take a peek at your feet. Make sure they're parallel to each other. Second toe moving forward. Just breathe, mountain pose. Let your entire body soften here. Notice if there is any protection, any mist, any veils around your heart space right now. See if you can soften that heart space completely and totally. Maybe you'll feel it in the physical sense, or maybe you'll just feel an opening, or maybe you'll just feel some resistance and just notice that. Whatever you feel as you start to direct your body to soften the heart, notice that. If there's something that needs to be undone, one thread at a time, if there's a fear, if there's a hurt, if there's grief that is covering that heart, and if you're human, there is. See how you can, one thread at a time, start to open that. Start to let that heart wisdom really take its proper seat at the table. From here, you're going to turn your feet out, widen them a bit. Bring your hands to your heart center. Move down into a squat. If your knees don't love squat, you could stay in a high squat. If you're in a low squat, let your hands come down to the floor. Plant your right hand right in the middle, left arm up to the sky. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, left arm down, right arm up. Move in each direction one more time at your own pace. And after your last descent down to the floor, plant your hands. Press into your palms and begin to straighten your legs, coming up into standing forward fold. Sorry, Per. Yeah, there you go, Per. And from here, plant those palms. Step one foot back, and then the other. Take a nice stretch and downward facing dog. And then roll forward, moving into upward facing dog for just a moment, lowering your torso, lifting your heart, and then let your entire body settle down onto your belly. Make a pillow with your hands. You can let your heels move toward each other, your toes move away from each other, crocodile pose, or you can just let your feet splay out. Be comfortable. A few breaths here. And then slowly rise up into Sphinx pose, forearms on the mat, chest, shoulders, head up, fingers facing forward. Point your toes, and then just begin to raise just your left leg off the mat, nice and slow, as high as you can, and then lower it back down. And do that 4 more times at your own pace, inhaling it up, exhaling it down. It doesn't have to go real high. And after you've done your 4, pause for a moment, and then move to the other side. Left leg rising up and down, 5 times total. It's a nice stretch for your femoral nerve. And after the last lift, let your legs relax. Slide your right hand under your left arm, and then move your left hand all the way over to the right side of the mat. Let your body move down toward the mat. So you're going to be in a nice shoulder stretch here. Your arms are going to be moving, hugging yourself, basically, as you lay on the mat. Take a breath here. And then slowly bring yourself back up. And then switch sides, thread the opposite hand. I think it's the left under the right. Right, moving to the left of the mat. Folded wings pose, this is called. Nice stretch across the back. We forget that the back of the heart also needs to be open, softened. The back of the heart represents all of the past, this lifetime, past lifetimes, if you believe in that. We bring so much with us, and if it comes with us, it comes with us to be released. And then slowly come back to center, back into Sphinx. And from here, just make your way onto your back, just roll onto the back. And if you have your block near you, does everybody have their block near them? Bring it to the side, and then you're going to plant your feet. Bend your knees, plant your feet, bring them as wide as the mat. Do a few windshield wipers here. Moving your knees from one side to the other, really opening those hips. And then once you feel complete, you're going to bring your feet to stillness, bring your legs toward each other. Press into the mat, lift your hips, and place that block on its lowest, widest side under your sacrum. And let yourself relax into a supported bridge pose. Arms resting at your sides. Long, deep breaths. So when we have that roar of awakening, when we get that glimpse that we're not who we thought we were, or we're no longer supposed to be who we were yesterday, and sometimes the energy of fear comes up, and that's okay. The unknown is scary, right? But we just need to keep on looking at it, allowing it to come into our realm of possibility, opening to it. There's another quote by Thoreau, and he says, "As a single footstep will not make a path on earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. So when we get a glimpse of that roar of awakening, of who we could be, of who we're meant to be, and our mind goes through the litany of all the reasons why we can't, if instead of letting those familiar thoughts flow, we could stop and just say to ourselves, wouldn't it be nice if I knew how to step into that? Wouldn't it be nice if I was able to allow myself to really fully experience that which my heart is calling me to? Over and over, wouldn't it be nice? And eventually, wouldn't it not be nice will turn into, I'm so grateful that I am. Thought after thought. From here, you're going to bring your right leg up to the sky, and then your left, both of them up in the air. Yeah, coming into a supported version of shoulder stand. And you can stay right here if you'd like, or you can begin to bring one knee into your chest and extend it back out, and then the other knee. Just do that a few times. And then returning both feet up toward the ceiling, do a few ankle rolls. And then coming to stillness and bending your knees, not placing your feet on the ground yet, just bending your knees, letting your feet just kind of hang. And then really slowly letting them float down to the floor. Pressing into your feet, lifting your hips, removing the block. Settling your sacrum down to the mat. And then once you're there, going to bring your feet in a little bit closer to your butt and press up into a bridge pose just for a moment. Inhale and exhale. Chin moving away from the chest, chest moving toward the chin, shoulder blades moving together. And then slowly lower everything down. Knees into chest, arms out to a T, spinal twist to the right, to the left. Take your time. And when you're ready, come back to center. Let your legs come out long. Taking any final twist, stretches, yawns, laughs, and then settling into Shavasana. You're not who you thought you were. You're so much more. You have a divine nature, and you're limited only by the ideas that you have about yourself, your life. You're not defined by what you've done or what's happened to you. Your history is only feedback. It's not who you are. Awaken to the roar in your heart. Allow yourself to dance through this life, full on, unfiltered, pure you. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Let your body stretch and move. Maybe bring those arms overhead. Reach for the wall behind you. Stretch through your heels. Even sliver your body around like a snake. Wake yourself up. And then bringing your knees in towards your chest. Palms together, soles of your feet together, rub. Connecting to that divine energy. And then bringing your knees into your chest one more time. Roll over to your right side or up and down on your spine. Slowly bring yourself up to a seat. We'll meet in Anjali Mudra. Touching the sweetness of your own heart. Closing your eyes. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Please join me in sealing our practice together with a reminder of who we truly are. A long Sat Nam. Inhale deeply. Sa. Nam. Close those thumbs to the center of your brow, dropping your chin into your truth. Be love, believe, be true to you. Sat Nam, everybody.